Appreciate it. Welcome to Greg Dell's retirement party. 39 years. Heck yeah. So we're going to start off by introducing a few key guests, special guests. We have Greg's family up here, KK. I attribute a large part of Greg's success in his career to you. Thank you, great job. Yeah, here's the KK. And here at the end we have one of my favorite engineers, for Garber Engineers, Daniel, his wife Kara, and their lovely children. That's Walker on the end. Y'all gotta help me, I'm gonna screw this up here. Addie, yep. Riley, yes. Yeah, very good. Thank you guys. Appreciate y'all. So those of you who are enjoying the retirement status, raise your hand. All right, let's give them a welcome. You do not get a speaking engagement here. I'm good. All right. We have some community leaders here. Tim Shaw. We have some Garber employees. Kirby Rowland, retired. All those that are here that are community leaders. Thank y'all. Very good. So, very good. Boy, I about screwed up. Greg, why didn't you kick me? Oh my gosh. Would y'all please stand up just quickly? So I missed Miss Jodell, that's Greg's mom, and Lynn Cummins. Yeah. Thank y'all. I really appreciate y'all being here to keep us in line. Thank you so much. So very good. So real quick before we turn it over to Greg Carroll, Greg, I just want to tell you I appreciate you, man. It's been great working with you. We're going to miss your brilliant mind, your constant influx of ideas, up to 30% design. Yeah, we're going to miss your quick wit, your attention to detail, and some of us will even miss your spiritual gift of harassment. Yes. And also your dad jokes. And so just for you, for your retirement gift to you, we've got a couple of folks that are going to stand up and share a dad joke for you to take into retirement with you.
So my retirees always smiling. Because they can't hear a thing you're telling them.
So we've been asking Greg the past few weeks what his plans are after retirement. You gonna make any big trips or anything like that? And he said no. KK didn't want to be too far away from the grandkids too long, so it won't be anything big. But he did finally decide they were going to make a trip, so we got a map of the state of Arkansas and set it up in the kitchen and got a dart. And said, wherever this dart hits, is where we're going. So starting Monday morning, they're going to take a nice little 3-day trip behind the refrigerator.
Well, it is my pleasure to present the company gift to Greg Dell after a remarkable 39-year career. Everybody knows what this is, but it's just our way of showing how much we appreciate the time that you gave us over the years, and want to hopefully you'll be have fond memories of all the time that you gave. And KK, thank you for sharing Greg with us over this time, and it's my honor to present you with this company gift, Greg. You bet. I think we now include batteries with that. Gas for that. Yeah, thank you.
I don't know. I have no idea. It's a box. With the knife cutting.
Jump into Super Greg video.
I'm going to ask Dell Spawner to present the employee gift.
So I'm going to share a little bit too.
Okay.
So y'all have already given me some of those traits you talked about, but there's one in particular that he's shy that really won't admit to. Yes, but he's an inventor. If you didn't know that, I'm going to tell you the story. So started here, fresh out of college from U of A, and a lot of the projects Greg unfortunately had to deal with me. And so I got to go out on many projects, and one of them that's really memorable to me was a hot summer on Oak Street. So I'm like, what the heck are we doing? We're out on Oak. He's got a probe rod. I'm like, what's this for? He said, we're fixing to probe utilities and figure out, the elevations. And I'm like, I'm electrical. I'm not really care about elevations. But anyway, we start. It's hard. It's hot. I think I maybe started out for a few seconds, about to pass out, and he said, here, let me give you some probing fluid. So he hands me a bottle. I'm gullible, naive, right? Probing fluid. And I'm pouring in there, and we're doing it, and I'm still getting hotter, and I'm going to pass out. We run out. And I'm like, what's up? What are you doing? Later, I found out what the probing fluid was. And, maybe you should have got a patent on it, because you had me fooled and believed. But anyway, it was water.
I think I sent you to the warehouse to get some.
You did. He did. He sent me back to get some of it. I just hook, line, and sinker. I bought it, man. But anyway, it's been fun. I've worked with Greg 34 years, and it's been a good time. Even though the van incident, hopefully you forget. I thought you might leave the office the way the van was left, but anyway, with that being said, I just wanted to say congratulations. This is from fellow employees, and we hope you take this and use it at the Spur Creek Lodge. And I think this will benefit you better than the probing fluid, sir. Thank you, sir.
So I have just a few comments. I'm going to try to distill a 39-year career into about 3 to 5 minutes with the limited time that we have, and I'll get just a few notes to kind of keep me on topic. But so how does a guy go from being a load control / engineering tech to being the CEO or the COO? Not CEO.
This is a promotion
COO, leading 70% of our employees roughly. Well, there's some things, I think, some keys to Greg's success that I've thought about. And one, he has a drive to succeed. So he's always wanted to have a drive to be better and to accomplish more and to succeed. So that's an important part of his success. He's goal-oriented. There's always some project, there's always something that needs to be done, there's always something that needs to be planned for. So he's always been very goal-oriented. He is a lifelong learner. I think he's well-read. There's very few topics that you can bring up that he don't know something about, because he's probably done some reading on that subject. And in the course of learning, he got his Class 4 wastewater operator's license, which is a really tough exam, it's a tough test to complete. And he did that as we were planning for our new wastewater treatment facility. And so he's a lifelong learner too, and so that he understands the need to learn and grow throughout your career. And I think that's been a big secret of Greg's success as well. And then finally, he's a leader. I mean, you can have those first three that I mentioned and not be a leader, but Greg is a leader. And I think about one of the books that I read, or one of my go-to books for leadership, is the 21 Irrefutable Laws of Leadership by John Maxwell. And one of those laws is the law of respect. And what that says is people naturally follow leaders that are stronger than themselves. And that's true of Greg. And I'll talk about that more. I'll give an example of that in just a minute. But his leadership has been strong, and it's served him well and the corporation well over these past 39 years. And I'll give you an example of that in just a minute. So he's made a number of significant contributions to the company over those 39 years. I'm not going to try to cover all 39 years, but I do want to just mention a few of those things that have taken place over the past 10 years or so. And I think the first time that Greg really caught my eye in terms of his leadership ability was related to our new, well, it's not new now, but at the time, our Tupelo Biowastewater Treatment Plant that we finished in 2014. So as I watched him interact with the Planning Commission and our City Council to bring that plant online, I was really impressed with the way that he led that project and the way that he made, because nobody wants a wastewater plant in their backyard. Nobody wants that. But the way he worked with community leaders and landowners to make that happen, I think was a great project with great success. One of the things that Greg's talked about for long-term is long-term water supply. That's probably one of our most important things that we're working on. It's really hard. It's hard work. It takes a long time. It's easy to sort of give up on that when people tell you that can't happen or the answer is no. But there are a couple of partnerships that Greg helped facilitate to get us where we are now. And that's with Community Water Tim Shaw is here with Community Water, and I think that partnership with them, as we think about serving our community and their community in the years to come, is extremely important. The Army Corps of Engineers, at times they can be difficult to work with, and so that partnership that Greg has established with them is extremely important. And there was a point in time where they said, hey, look, there's no new intakes in Greg Street. You can't put any more. Well, I mean, Greg's not good at hearing the yes or no. And so along with Tim and Community Water and our congressional delegation, we worked hard with the Corps of Engineers. And they said, okay, hey, look, we won't call it a new intake, we'll call it an expansion. So anyway, they agreed to allow us to put a new intake in the lake as we planned for water in Conway. And so those partnerships have been extremely important. I mentioned our congressional delegation in DC. You know, when Greg goes to DC to talk about the things that are important to Conway, he is recognized as a subject matter expert there. They listen to him. They've got a million things going on, a lot of people in their ear about projects that are important to them. But when Greg has something to say about long-term water supply, they listen to him. And that's been extremely important to us just over the past few years in particular. Watershed protection, you know, that is not a new terminology for us, but it's something that we didn't really have any kind of funding for something like that. We realized that there were other water providers that planned for watershed protection, had funding to do those kind of things. And so Greg is also very persistent about those kind of things. And so we now have a watershed protection fee that's going to allow us to protect the watershed that we have and plan for water in the future. So when I first started in this role, I was on the Mid-Arkansas Water Lines Board, and I realized pretty quickly I wasn't the right guy to be in that role, but I knew who was, and that was Greg. That was Greg Dell, because he had a real heart and a passion for the water that we need. And when I talked about the law of respect, they very quickly realized that here's a guy we can follow. Here's a guy that needs to lead this organization. And so, until his retirement, he was the president of MAWA. They recognized his leadership, and they rallied around him and elected him president. So that's just an example of the leadership that he provides, and people recognize his leadership ability in the industry. And so him leading MAWA has been important, not just for Conway, but the state and region as a whole. One of the things that Greg talks about often is aging infrastructure. That's something that he talks about. He's an advocate and ambassador to make sure we replace aging infrastructure. And if you see news reports and media about that across the state and country, there are systems that are struggling. We see it when there's really cold weather events. Some systems struggle, and I think largely due to Greg's leadership, we've made some changes and improved just the cadence in which we replace some aging infrastructure, and so that's been very helpful as we plan for the future. Grant money, that's something that's sort of new to us. The federal government has got a lot of money, and we just want our share of that. And Greg's been pretty instrumental in making sure we get that grant money. 2 projects in particular related to a water line that we extended to the county. That was extremely important, and some principal interest forgiveness of a little over $7 million to expand our water treatment capacity. So a $39 million project is going to cost us about $32 million. So Greg was real instrumental in making sure we were able to do that grant. As you can tell by looking around the room, we're out of room here, and so having a new operations center is going to be important for our growth. And Greg led the charge on that, and that construction is ongoing. We should be in that facility close to the end of the year. So it's going to give us some room to plan and grow, and so take advantage of the property that we bought out there close to our former wastewater treatment plant. And then I think just in general, you know, Greg has set high expectations for those in his charge. I mean, he expects the people that work for him to work hard and to serve Conway Corp well, and he's done a great job, I think, of making sure to expect a lot from everybody that's in his charge. And then another thing that great leaders do is they plan for succession. They replicate themselves. He's certainly done that in preparing for his departure by getting people ready. And so that's another thing that I think is important, and he's done a good job of. And as great a job as he's done as COO, he's even a better family man. He didn't compromise his faith or his family to achieve the success that he's achieved. And if I think about, you know, Greg sometimes has a bit of a rough exterior, for those of you that know him. Shocking. At his heart, he looks for ways to serve other people, whether it's through the Rural Ranch, providing mentoring there, serving as a deacon or a small group leader for decades at his church, and then on the Arkansas Baptist Relief, whether it's operating a chainsaw or his kids here, and you don't get anything for that except just serving other people. So that's an indication of his servant's heart. And then as you look around the room and see his family here, and he didn't sacrifice his family to be successful in his career. And so I think that's an important distinction that needs to be made today. And so that's really all that I have. Greg, I just want to wish you best wishes on your retirement. You've got a cabin to build and grandbabies to spoil, so get to it, brother.
Other order, grandbabies to spoil.
And then a cabin to build. All right. Congratulations.
My grandkids made me retirement gifts, retirement cards. Well, I think we skipped Dell Gifford is in here somewhere, or was here. He might have just come in and left. But Dell Gifford, the manager at Conway County Regional Water, was or is here. He may be out the party. Randy Milligan slipped in with landlord.
You skipped your brother, too.
You skipped my brother Steve Dell, my older but smaller brother. And hasn't been for a long time, and he doesn't mind. Brett talks so long, I'll be real short, I promise. I'd like to recognize a couple of people who aren't here. One of those being Jim McKinney. He was our first manager of our cable department, and he was good friends. He and Mary Jo were good friends with my in-laws, and he told Jim Brewer one time, he said, "I got a guy you need to hire." And so Jim Brewer called me in. I interviewed with Jim, and Jim hired me. And it was kind of awkward walking into the room on Monday morning, walking into Roger Mills' office on Monday morning going, "Hey, I work for you now." And he said, "What are you going to do?" I said, "Well, I'm going to do whatever you tell me to." But Jim has passed away, and Jim Brewer has also passed away. He was the first CEO or manager that I served under, and then Bill Hegeman. You couldn't meet a nicer guy. And Bill is an example of when you retire, not retiring, because he worked tirelessly on the CDC board and for industrial development. A lot of his work. This community benefits from it, and we just never know it. But he worked hard for that. And then after Bill, Richie Arnold, and Richie's here today, or was. Oh, there he is. And Richie was a great boss. I really didn't know how I stood, but I've gotten to be around Richie a lot since then, as he consults for AMPA and does a great job there. But Richie has been very open with praise since then about what a great job. He said, "Man, you've done a great job, and I'm glad that I got to hire you or have you working and promote you and all that." So it's been great getting to hear that from Richie later after he retired. I'd tell each of you that have employees, you might want to tell them that while they're here. And I'm not saying that I didn't feel loved at that time, but it is good to hear it. And then I'll talk about Brett in just a second. But so in my career here at Conway Corp for 39 years, I've only had 3 direct bosses, and that's Roger Mills, Tommy Shackelford, who is here. Thank you, Tommy. Tommy told me going in, he said, "I want to prepare you to take my job," and he did. He let me do all his work. But he told me, he said, "Man, you're going to need to know how to do this." And he often told me, he said, "Man, you will do a better job of this than I do, so just go ahead and do it." And at the time, I was a little bit, but when they were looking for a new COO, I was really thankful for that. And that Tommy prepared a lot of people for leadership, and I really appreciate that. And then my last direct boss is Brett Carroll, and some of y'all don't know this, but he was in a Sunday school couples class that I taught at church, and we were friends before he ever came to work at Conway Corp. Then when he came, he was over on the finance side, so I could harass him and talk to him however I wanted to. And then eventually I get promoted where I'm actually working for him, and I had to start acting like I respected him. But he has been a wonderful boss. It's been great to work for him, but I'm really looking forward to him just being just a good friend again. That's going to be a full circle on that relationship. We have great leaders that are coming up in this company, and thank you, Brett McDaniel, for making it my job easy in the last few years, and he will be a good COO. Thank you all for coming, and that's all I have to say. And I would like I would like to thank my family for being here. My mom, my mother-in-law, my brother, my wife, my daughter, my son-in-law, and these 4 beautiful grandbabies. And I look forward to spending time with them and seeing you guys around town. Deanna asked me what kind of cake I want. I said, I don't want no cake, I want some pie. I like pie. But so she got cake and pie, so please enjoy. Are we done? Or is that it?
I think so. I may just say a
Okay.
quick blessing for the food, if that's okay. All right, Val would be pleased if you'd like to. Dear Father, thank you for this time of fellowship. Thank you for Greg and what he's meant to the corporation over these years. I pray for, he's been successful his entire life. I pray for success in retirement, that he has many great years with his family and friends and years to come. I'm thankful for his leadership. I'm thankful for, of course, Conway Corporation. I pray for the safety of our employees. And again, I just thank you for this time, and I pray that you would just bless this food to the earth this morning. In Christ's name I pray.
Amen. All right.